Well, actually, the technique is a tool. That's what my teacher once taught me. So I'm not only trying to play fast, but just to use it in certain ways that it's not getting boring or something. Like when you listen to a guitarist like Yngwie Malmsteen or so, was really quick, but he's not doing anything else apart from playing quick. It's getting boring. That's not what I'm trying. So. Well, yes and no. It's I'm not doing a lot of speed picking through the whole song. It's mostly like in the last part of a solo or a specific melody or something. But like the themes and the choruses, they are very actually simple melodies or phrases. So the technique I always like when someone is actually, you can hear that someone actually can play his instrument. So it's not only basic chords, but it's nice to hear that. Like all the very technical guitarists, they have their own ways of, like I love the sweeping technique, and that's what I use a lot, the sweeping in combination with tapping and bendings and stuff like that. So you can actually hear, oh yeah, that's him. Oh, that is mostly like a more like emotional kind of playing. So like in a song like To the Manta Ray, it's a song actually, that's why it's called like that. I wrote it for a video with only manta rays. So I filmed it in Indonesia. I made a compilation and I came up with 7 minutes of a video. So I had to make a song and keep it interesting for 7 minutes. So I think there are not even shredding licks or technical. It's just like very slow playing. I'm much influenced by David Gilmour, for instance. Well, he's really not into this very technical playing. So it's not necessary. So. I think in Silent Warrior is also a very slow song, except the last part of the electric solo. You hear some, but only the very last part. The rest is just basic, simple melodies, and that's what I like most actually. I'm very much influenced by a guitarist called Tony McAlpine, and he's very good in that. Just simple melodies. He's a very technical playing as well, a technical player, but he's not only using the technique, but it's very musical. Yeah, so. And the last, Fantasy Prince, is just a big epic song. Yeah. It's like a guitar battle. I have one sound for the whole album, and the second guitar I created a new sound for it, and I also had a different kind of playing with it. So the other one is really the shredding, and the other one is more like a bluesy and not really the shred guitar, with different sounds. It was like a guitar battle between myself. That's what I like in that song, yeah. Yeah, sometimes I do, but I think every musician hasn't. But I didn't have a deadline for the album. That was very important to me. I worked with it for three years, I think. But sometimes for months I didn't work on it. And I think there was one song, I think it was Chapters, when I had the start and the rhythm part, and then I came up with the chorus. And once I finished it and I listened back, I was just not happy with it. And then I tried to change it a bit, and at some point I said, let's skip the song for a while and continue with it later. Then I removed the whole chorus and came up with something new. And yeah, so of course, yeah, you struggle sometimes, but it's not only sometimes I have like a verse, and then I can't come up with any chorus that fits well with the verse or something. And sometimes I'm just not in the mood for playing at all or composing, and yeah, that happens. But sometimes I just wait, sometimes for weeks, sometimes months, and then I continue again. And yeah, so I think everyone is struggling sometime, and I think that's normal. Just keep doing it, yeah. I had it actually with a documentary where I worked on. Every time, once in a while I get the whole season. I had to compose music for 4 seasons, so there was like 50 minutes of music. And I had a deadline actually, so sometimes when I struggle, I just wait for a day, continue the next day. And sometimes you have to, when you work for hours on one part and you just struggle, throw it away, start over, and eventually, and sometimes what works for me is when I struggle, I just go for a ride on the bike or whatever, and then music comes in my head again, and then I go back and then I continue again. Sometimes you need to break and find the inspiration anywhere. Yeah. I did most of the part myself. I mean, Stefan played one bass in a song, and my father played an intro of one song. But for the rest, it's all mine. And because I had really in mind what I wanted the album to sound like. So I didn't. Yeah, everyone has a different opinion, and of course I did my media music study, so I know how I have to produce. So no, it's mostly all my own project. Yeah. But I didn't have any goals with the album. And no deadline, so it's like a project that I wanted to finish. And because I wanted to sound it like I wanted it to sound, so I didn't really, I didn't need help. Well, I think a couple of years, but the main reason why I also started this project is this technical way of playing is actually my roots. That's how I started, and during my studies I learned to play blues and funk, and well, I started a gypsy project, so many ways, but I didn't really play this technical. I don't do it live, because there is no market really for it, and so I decided just when I make an album, then I have to study it and to keep the technique, and but it was a goal, like my roots. I always wanted to make an album like that, and at some point I said, now I'm going to start with it. And this year, actually, in the May holiday, now I want to finish it. So I kept I had 2 weeks off, so I 2 weeks just spending only on my album, and that was my goal for now. After those 2 weeks, it should be all finished. Yeah. Well, first of all, don't try not to make too many deadlines, because that really helps. Because when you struggle or whatever, then just take your time and finish it later, and just do your own thing. That's what I did. I mean, the music that I create is not really for it's not really commercial music, but that was not my goal. I try to combine like a structure in the song with verses, chorus, and catchy melodies in choruses, combined with like this speed picking and heavy technical solo. So just do your own thing and don't really pay attention to what others think, because everyone has their opinion about music, but everyone's opinion is different. So ask, of course, musicians what they think about your music, not only the people who just listen to music but have no idea how music works. And also, yeah, so that's what I would recommend, but just do your own thing.